Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are doing a tutorial that has been widely requested. Lucky MC was the most recent one to ask of this, and this is the execute tutorial for 1.13, and I'm going to be going over everything well, pretty much everything that you can do, and there's a lot of extra little inside things, and I'll be giving little examples as I go. I'm just going to go left to right. This is all alphabetical. It's not in a specific order, but I'm going to start at one that's the most important of them all, and that's this one. So we're going to start with this one, and then we're going to go in alphabetical order. So the first one is run, okay? So what they did with execute is they made it so that you can put different things in execute to make it do cool things, okay? Instead of just having a selector and a position, which is what it had before, it would be like at P and then a position, right? Now it has a bunch of things you can do. So we got all these ones to go over. First one is run. Run is the most basic. I'm going to use it in all my examples that I have here. Run just means let's stop looking at the conditions and let's do an actual command. So that's all it does. You have to do run say hi. If you don't have that run there, then it won't work because it thinks that you're still trying to put in some conditions that you want to put in. I'm going to call all the things that we're putting in here conditions. So run is a condition. This run is going to tell the game it's time to put an actual command. Alright, so that's what run's for. This is just an example. Run, set block, stone. Alright, that sets the block to be stone, that in the direction I'm facing. Yeah, it's pretty simple. There we go. So as you can see, just run, set block, stone. And it doesn't even do it in the position I'm necessarily facing. It does it in the position that the command is facing. It doesn't have to do with me. And we'll go over why it doesn't have to do with me in a little bit. But these three carets that I use mean in the direction of, and using a number in the third caret means that it's going to try to put the block in the direction that the thing that's playing the command, or where the command's being played, the rotation of it, in one block in that direction. So if I already have a video on this, but if I was facing this way, all right, or I'm facing this way, it tries to put the command in the direction that I'm facing, all right? In this case, I am physically playing the command, so when I put the command in here and I hit enter, it's playing it. I am the player who's playing it, I am the person playing it, and it is being played at me. Those are two things that happen when you put it in your chat here, but when I put it in a command block and run it, it's not being played at me. The command is being played as a command block. This random command block is playing the command, and it is doing it in the rotation of the command block, which the rotation of this command block, the command being played out of the command block is going to be your default south facing. So yeah, so that's just what we're going with. So execute now is matters who you're playing it as, where you're playing the command, and the rotation of the command. So the command quote unquote rotates. It takes the rotation of whoever's playing it, and you can mess with that. So let's start this because this is gonna be a while. So buckle in, guys. All right. So first we got align. This one doesn't seem very useful, but I actually used it in my most recent, one of my more recent videos where I do this, the charge. So, all right, there we go. So as you can see, look, see how I go this way? Wait, when I click it, I charge, right? But I charge in the direction I'm facing, but I don't charge up or down, right? That's because I made it align with the y-axis for my rotation. So when I activate this command, all right, it's going to say, okay, so the player, he's looking up like this. Boom, 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 looking up, all right? The command's rotation is going to be my rotation, right? But when I tell it something like, let's say, align with y, when I tell it to align with the y-axis, what it's basically doing is it's taking the rotation and kind of sticking it to the y-axis. And it depends on which one you want to use. So here we have, let's look at the options. Ooh, that's weird. The axes, it doesn't let you put in the axes. But in this example, let's see, right? Yeah, this one uses a similar version of align, but it's like a cheat version that I'll talk about. But align wants to align to an axis when you're playing the command, and as you can see, if I go like that, it does down there. If I change it to align with X, it goes. Ooh. If I go there, align with X, goes there. Align with Z, goes there. Align with Y, goes there. As well, I mean, it's already covered. But as you can see, it kind of gives different versions based on what axis you're aligning with. The reason why this is so confusing and why you might find it confusing is I believe what they mean by Y, X, and Z doesn't have to do with like the games Y, X, and Z. I believe it has to do with the Y, X, and Z of your head rotation, which changes based on where I'm facing, okay? So that's just a quick thing. So if I say align with Y and my head's facing this way, it's going to align with the Y axis is going up and down. Like if I hit F3, you can see these three arrows. It wants to align with like my version of the arrows. But that one's, there's going to be a couple that aren't going to be used probably too often, but I'm going to go over anyway. That's one of them. Next is anchored. Anchored might be a little useful. What it does is it picks some place for the rotation to start from. So if my head's here and I'm spinning around, see that, right? And I play a command like this run set block, it'll go from typically my feet. See how it's coming kind of from my feet. It's not like if I look straight out like this, right, and I play that, it's not going where my cursor is. It's going where, my starting at my feet, but the same kind of direction. But if I play it anchored to my eyes, oh, okay. But yeah, if I anchor it to my eyes, it's going to go in the direction based on where my eyes are looking. And it's going to be anchored to my eyes. So as you can see, like it actually goes where it tries to put the block more where my cursor is. You want to add some extra positioning things. So you want to go, you want to position this because if you're going to manipulate the rotation things here, you want to manipulate everything before you get to this command, because this command is going to just pick the player's eyes and not the command. It's going to pick stuff with the player, with the command. So these kind of things get mixed up, and sometimes you can't get the results you want, but we'll go over that when we get to positioned. Point is, anchored lets you pick where the rotation starts from. Right now it's starting from my feet. This would make it start from my eyes. By default, it starts from my feet. And that can be useful, actually. This one is pretty useful. I have it here, feet. It's actually a better example to do eyes. All right. So next is as. As is one of the two most important ones in this whole thing. Execute as. So this lets you change who's executing it. Execute as Cloudwolf, run say hi at S. At S is going to pick the person playing the command, right? I went over a tutorial for this. If you don't know that, go check that out. At S is going to pick the person who is playing the command, and the person playing this command is at A. As at A makes everybody play the command. It doesn't mean the command's being played at them. The position is still at the command block if I put this in a command block. So if I put this in see as at A, say hi at S, it still if I click it, it'll say hi me because I'm playing it. But if I change this to set block, 2 blocks above to stone. Now, originally with execute, you would assume that it would set the block 2 blocks above everybody's head to stone, but it doesn't. It does it at the command block itself because the command block is the location of the playing, and the person playing it is me. So, yes, it does change who plays it, but no, it doesn't change to that person's position, which is nice because now you can use at, which lets you play a command at a entity. So we can go slash play at A, say hi at S, all right? So if I play this one from the command block, it says my name. If I play this one from the command block, it doesn't say my name because I am still not the player. Right now, the command block played the command at me. But at S picks who played the command, and who played the command was this invisible command block magician or whatever you want to call it. So again, I am not playing the command, so I won't see my name show up here. All right. But if I do set block 2 blocks up stone, now that we did at A, it will actually put the block above me to be stone. So I can combine both these together as at A, at S, and it will play the command as everybody at themselves, put a 2 blocks above their head. So let's see that. As at A, at S, say hi at S. All right. Set block. So this will put the block above everybody in the game's head to be stone. And even if I play it in a command block, it will still do that. Of course, you don't need the as at A if you're just setting a block to be stone, but this can be useful to play around with this, because what you can do is you can play a command and still know who is playing the command regardless of where it's being played, which is something that I use in my guns. All right, so I have my guns. All right, the bullets you shoot out of the gun, the ray casting goes out and it hits something and it stops, and it's like, oh, I found something, or it hit a wall, right? Just because the command is being played at this wall doesn't mean it doesn't know who shot it, because at S would still come back to me. Even if I'm a million blocks away, well, I mean, if it's out of my chunk, that won't work. But if I'm like 30 blocks away and the command is being played at this wall, it still knows that I played it because I'm still the person playing it. I'm still the owner of the command, all right? So that's a really cool thing that you can play around with, all right? So you can still maintain who is doing it regardless of where they are, even if they're away from it. So next we got facing. This one is a little fun. So this one will take the rotation of the command and turn it to face something, all right? In this case, I'm facing an entity, and don't worry about this. This is just me picking one entity that's the closest entity, and I'm looking and I'm facing towards its eyes. So it makes the command face towards the nearest entity's eyes. So the nearest entity, let me just give you an entity here. Let's put down an item. All right, this will face towards its eyes. See how the block went that way? If I'm over here, the block is still facing towards the item. If I go over here, the block is still getting placed in the direction of the item, right? So this is actually really cool because I'll probably come out with this soon, but you guys might know that you can create kind of like a homing beacon system uh, using this and some kind of, entity or some kind of marker thing to show a direction, so you can always find your way back home. Kind of like, how the compass, let me show you. You can use this to do something like the compass. So the compass, why the hell? Hold on. Where is that? Okay. So the compass points towards the spawn point, right? And it always faces the spawn point. This is basic stuff. See how it's turning because the spawn point's kind of like in the middle there somewhere? Well, we can do something like that, but making the item the point of the center, and then whatever our quote-unquote new type of compass is, it'll always point towards the item or something like that. You can use it for like a tracking system. You can use it in like a mini game where you have like a hunter and one guy's hunting them, and then every so often he gets a little bit of information on the where the other players are, kind of like a detector. You could also use it in the bullet system. This would be more complicated, but you use the raycasting bullet and you use a little sensor around the player, and it'll show them the direction of where the bullets that are near them or hitting them are coming from. So that could be interesting. That's definitely a good one to use. Next we have if. If is also really, really good. So this one lets you test if something is true, all right? I mean, you could just use as something, right? You could do execute as at a tag equals test. So this will execute as anybody that has that tag. But what if you don't want to change who the player is, the person playing the command? In this case, we aren't changing the person who's playing the command, and I'll show you that. So here we are checking if the nearest player has a tag of test. If so, say hi. So I don't have the tag right now, but I'm going to click it, and it doesn't do anything, right? Because I don't have the tag. Now this is going to give me the tag, and I'm going to click it, and now it says hi, but it doesn't say hi Cloudwolf, right? I put at S, it doesn't say hi Cloudwolf because I'm not playing the command. I'm just checking if I have that tag, but the command block is still playing the command. It's the base player, all right? So this lets you check certain parameters, certain little things, without switching who played the command. All right, so next is in. In is really interesting. This one is, I haven't even used it. It's weird. In lets you change where where you're placing things. So if I do set block execute in the overworld, set block stone, it sets the block stone. But if I do execute in the nether, it won't be able to do it because I don't have the chunk in the nether loaded. But if I did this, it would put the corresponding position in the nether to be stone, which could be interesting. I don't know, make a mini game. I don't know what you're doing with it. It's just a little fun thing that you can throw in there. You can work with in the nether, in the overworld, or in the end. I don't know why you would do that, but you can do that. It's there now. All right, positioned is one of the really important ones that has to do with rotation and movement of things. Positioned is like before, how you had execute add a tilde tilde tilde. This is your positioned right here. So your positioned looks like this. So you just do positioned and boom, boom, boom. So if I do positioned with 3 tildes and a 1, that means we're repositioning where the command is up to 1 block. So if I play the command right now, it normally, without positioned, would set the block right there to stone. But if I position the command upwards 1, it'll set the block in my head stone, which can be nice because you can position things upwards, which is cool. And you can also position as another entity. So you can switch the position of the command to another entity, but that's redundant because at does the same thing. At is the same as saying positioned as, so I don't know why you would do that. Or maybe it's just bugging out, I don't know. But just use these tildes, or you can use these ones. You can use these too, so you can move the thing forward in the direction you're looking. Hint, hint, that's how the raycasting works. You are changing the position of the command without changing the player of the command. But yeah, so that lets you change the position of where it's played. Next is rotated, similar to position, except it's messing with the rotation. So I do rotated. I can do rotated like this. So this would, what does this do? Rotated tilde 0. This is what I use in my command. So rotated tilde 0 means that you take you keep the tilde means you maintain their left to right looking value, but the second one is your up and down looking value, which I put as 0. So this means that it will rotate my head to do it in the direction without the y component, okay? So now, even if I look in the sky, let me change this to 5 so it's obvious. It just puts it 5 in front of me, but not in the sky, right? So it puts it 5 in front of me, but not in the direction in the sky that I'm looking, only in the direction in the floor that I'm looking. If I maintained both of them, it would just normally do what it does, which puts it in the direction I'm facing. But since I deleted the y component, it only puts it that way. Now I can also delete the horizontal looking component if I do this, but that will just put it in a weird place, which kind of has to do with the way that RY works. Yada yada yada, weird stuff. But anyway, it's more useful to just delete the Y component because you can mess with that. You can also do rotated, and then you can pick an entity to rotate it. Rotated as, this rotates it as an entity that is nearest, blah blah blah, stone, blah blah blah. So let's make an entity that's nearest, and we will rotate it as that. So notice how no matter where I look, it's still putting it in relatively the same place because it has to do with the rotation of this entity, and the rotation of this entity is facing that, I think it's that way. But anyway, the rotation has to do with the other entity now, but you didn't change who's running it, but you did change the rotation, alright? So this lets you edit the rotation of whatever, where the command is being played. Here's run. Next is store. Store is probably one of the cooler ones. So this lets you store stuff. So as the name suggests. So success or results, I usually use result. Success is if you want like a 0 or 1 value, true or false, if the command was successful. So if I want to, maybe I want to check if I am able to set the block above the player's head to air, right? If I'm able to do that, then say that I'm able to do that and store it, right? But usually result is better because it lets you store the result of what you're doing. So more than just true or false, all the information that you need, numbers only though. So you can store it either in a block, so like the data of a block, if a block has data, in a score, so this could be on a scoreboard, or in an entity, as an entity data, MBT data, or in a boss bar. So I can alter I can alter an entity's health by a variable amount. So I can do store result entity, and then I can grab some score that I want to set their health to, like 10. I want to set their health to 10. So this will store their health to 10. So let's go at p and then path health, right? Bytes or whatever correct value you want to use. and then scale 1, and then you say run, and then you create the stuff to give you a result of 10, whatever gives you 10, and then it will store 10 to health. But sadly, this doesn't work with players because you can't edit players' data, so you have to use some kind of like zombie or something. The more useful one, the more used one is those score. So score at p test, right? Run. Let's do a data one. Data get entity at p. All right, so this will store the results. So here's all my data. So let's see. Let's store my food level on my test score. So let's store my food level on my test score. 20. See here, food level 20. See, CloudWolf has the following data, 20. So when I use this data get, it tells me what my food level is. It's 20. And that number that it tells you after doing it gets put right here. So this goes away and becomes 20. Then this 20 gets stored onto my test score. All right? So that's how store works. There's a lot of things you can do with store. Very good. And it takes us to the last one, which is just the opposite of if. It's unless. So this is this lets you test unless something. So unless at p tag equals test. Let me add the entity. At p tag equals test. Run say hi. So unless I have this tag, it will say hi. So it said hi because I don't have the tag, right? Now I'm going to give the tag back and it won't work. It won't do anything because I have the tag. All right, so this is a stopping condition. It'll stop the command. Now there's a lot of things you can do with if and unless. You don't have to do entity. You can do block to check a block. You can do blocks to check multiple blocks, like a, compare, like block comparing blocks. You can do score to check a score of something. Angle, and then you can pick like less than, greater than. This is really nice because it gives you all the things. So you can see if it's less than, you can see if the number they have is less than, and then you can put some other score. So you can put like scoreboard operations mixed into it. But yeah, you can do a lot with that. So hopefully this guys gave you like a little generic overview of what all these things do. You can play around with them and try and get them to do cool stuff. There's a lot of options, a lot of things you can do with it. But other than that, guys, long video. If you made it through, good for you. And hopefully you are better at this now. So anyways, see you in the next one. Peace.